Hello there. The reports were that the European Union had backed down on parts of the Brexit deal, but they haven't. "We're nearly there," was the mood music. The Brussels Eurocrats were going to roll over and relax their tight claims of full ECJ jurisdiction over Northern Ireland, said The Times. A deal to end the Brexit logjam is close, we were told. But the EU Commission President Ursula von der Leyen has scotched that one by telling ambassadors from the EU 27 member states that this is definitely not the case. And Brussels is claiming that this is just Rishi Sunak flying kites to gauge public opinion before the deal they're trying to agree is published. And one unnamed EU diplomat told The Telegraph that the idea there is a deal or a breakthrough is nonsense. No, that ECJ jurisdiction is still a red line for the European Union. And ditching it should be a red line for us. And that news will probably be enough for the DUP to reject any deal. Now, we also hear that Rishi is keen to get back into the EU Horizon Science programme, something we had agreed with Brussels as part of the Brexit deal and totally disconnected from the Northern Ireland deal. But the EU backtracked on that to try and use it as a protocol football against the UK by kicking us out of it. And as part of that, Brussels forced some of our scientists to move into the EU to keep their funding. These are the games they play now and will continue to play in the future. And any ties we maintain with the EU will continue to be used in this manner. They just cannot be trusted. Don't believe the hype and propaganda. Nothing has changed. And you can't trust this government or a future Labour government not to sell our sovereignty down the river. Now, just to remind people, the Northern Ireland Assembly get to vote in December 2024 on whether they want to keep the protocol or not. And the answer to that will all depend on whether or not the Unionists have the numbers. The Met Police is under the microscope for multiple failings, especially over some officers who seem to be on the wrong side of the criminal law fence. But they're also short of a few bobbies and are hoping to recruit some more. And part of that process is to contact officers previously elbowed out due to a history of misconduct and asking them to apply to rejoin and bring their valuable skills and experience back into the Met. What could possibly go wrong? Now the question has to be asked why the police are finding it so hard to recruit. Could it be that in their rabid chase of ticking the right woke HR boxes, they are alienating the majority ethnic group in the country, who are not maybe applying in the numbers they used to? But isn't that the whole point of wokeness in the UK? To force that very situation? That rather over-the-top anti-Brexiteer, the in the hat, Steve Bray, has had to be escorted from the BBC premises after he heckled Tory MP Jacob Rees-Mogg during a Brexit debate yesterday. And while Bray was bellowing "Tories out," Rees-Mogg was there saying, "Steve, it's very nice of you to come and join us." Shows the difference between the two sides, doesn't it? And Rees-Mogg went on to say that he had often told the blue-hatted bullhorn operator to stand for election if he wants to get something changed. "He's trying to disrupt us this evening. He is now being taken out so that we can carry on the discussion," he added. Now I see on Twitter that Bray is suggesting he was assaulted in the process. Back at base, adrenaline worn off. Nose is okay, crown jewels are fine, but ribs and right side very painful. Not broken, just bruised. Back at Parliament in the morning until 5 p.m. then, though. Join us, he tweeted. with his supporters gushing their support in the comments sections. The BBC assaulting a Ramona. How can that be? So the price of heating your home with gas or electricity rockets, and the government expects you to either sit there and freeze or go and spend tens of thousands of pounds on a heat pump, and all the new radiators and piping that are required to make it work. But the people of the UK are quite an enterprising and self-reliant lot, and decided that they had a better idea, and went out and bought wood-burning stoves. And the sales of the things rocketed. All because decades of mismanagement of our energy security by governments left and right, or should I say left and even more left, have reduced us to relying on high-cost fuels from elsewhere around the planet. Anyway, so what was the government response to this boom in wood-burner sales? A crackdown on wood-burner emissions and demands that local councils start tracking down those of us that use them in the wrong place and punish them with fines, despite no fines having been issued in the last 5 years, as well as getting the ball rolling on legislation to limit the emissions of new wood-burning stoves. Self-reliance and self-sufficiency will not be allowed after the Great Reset, even if it means you freeze to death. Well, at least someone's benefiting from these increased taxes, for now. And that someone is the government through the Treasury, grasping an extra 12 billion quid off of the taxpayer last year. All down to things like frozen tax thresholds and other stealth taxes, with more people being dragged into the higher rate bands even though they don't get a pay rise. And the Exchequer got more income tax, more national insurance, more VAT and more corporation tax. And it will be squeezing more out of us next year. And interest rates look like they'll be going up. The Bank of England will announce their latest decision on that tomorrow. And with high inflation, our spending power will be slashed. So what will Jeremy Hunt do with this tax windfall? Cut the national debt? Fritter it away for now, or bank it for a pre-election giveaway, and then hope we think he's a nice guy after all. Now, one big point to note here is that the tax take is far in excess of the Office for Budget Responsibility forecasts. So when someone tells you that the latest forecast from anywhere like the OBR or the IMF, for example, if they say the UK is going to fall through its own bottom, just remember their forecasts are almost never anywhere near the truth, let alone accurate. And now over to Richard.
So, the people are not happy and are striking. Well, let's face it, the whole of society isn't happy, and our very way of life is collapsing around us. But this is a golden opportunity for some people to put into place their great work of ages. And so be it. The sheeple will never unify and rise up against this evil. The Tories have failed, but they were never going to succeed because Brexit Britain was never going to be allowed to succeed under such a spineless group of individuals. And we might as well just hand the keys over to Starmer and his party of liberal lefty pond life, because there is no difference between Labour and the Tories. It's all the same party. Wake up. The agenda is set, and I am sorry, but many of you may not want to face up to this, but you don't have a choice. There is no left and right anymore. All there is left is the pure satanic agenda. Let's not mince our words here. These people who influence our lives and the lives of our leaders are hell-bent on pushing forward satanic moral values that specifically follow the adversary of the Judeo-Christian faiths. You will not find any solace in any political party unless they openly acknowledge the truth of this global evil and set their policies to defy the globalist, centralist, satanic agenda. Now, can someone please tell me which political party opposes Satanism? I'm afraid this is very real, and it doesn't matter if you believe in the devil of the Christian Bible or not. Because you all need to know, those who rule over us do believe in that devil, and his symbols adorn their palaces and high magisterial buildings. Why? Please will someone in the comments section give me a good reason as to why the highest expressions of our architecture are based on evil, sacred, geometrical design if they are not representing the symbolic source?